All right guys, we're back in the shop. Now, some of you might recognize this 90 LX Vert over my shoulder because it was just on the channel about 5 weeks ago. I did a water pump in it. Now this buddy of mine gets this car back home, parks it in his garage, comes out later on, you know, a couple days later, and he calls me up, he says, Gary, I got coolant on the floor.
All right, Gary, drip, 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 look.
Like, oh no, you know, maybe the gasket didn't seal. I let it sit overnight, tested it the next day. I don't know. I did everything that I should have done, but that was the first thing that comes to mind for me. So I said, well, bring it over, we'll put it on the hoist and see what's going on. Anyway, we get the car up in the air and we go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I can't find coolant anywhere under this thing. It's literally bone dry. So I said, well, I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, the best thing to do would be get it home, park it on your garage, let it sit, and don't move it, but come out and check and see if there's any coolant on the ground. And if there is, try to give yourself a line of sight as to where it's coming from, because, well, he was here with me. I'm like, as you can tell, there's nothing. Like, there's no coolant anywhere. So he does. Anyway, turns out it's coming from the passenger side, like down below frame rail kind of starter area.
It's coming from here, buddy. I hope you know what that is.
Like, oh, I think you got a heater core, bud. So anyway, he's in the middle of some home renos and up to his eyeballs. I said, what do you want to do? You know, do you want to tear the dash out of this? Because I think anyone that's ever worked on these cars knows, like, you earn your stripes changing a heater core in a Foxbody. Like, the whole dash comes out, the console, it's a gong show. And I said, do you want to do that? We can do it if you want to. He goes, you know, I'm way in over my head on these home renos. Let's just do the quick and easy down and dirty fix. So what I'm about to show you here today is the workaround for rerouting and working around your leaky heater core. Okay, here's the parts we're going to be using to bypass the heater core. Now, this is just looks like a standard U-shape hose, but the nice part with this actual hose is it's 3/4 on one side and 5/8 on the other. And for those of you that don't know, your heater core has 2 different size hoses that go into it. So you don't have any crossovers, it's actually just all in one, and you don't need 2. You can essentially get away with just one, where you're rerouting the live coolant up on top of the intake. I'm going to put one on the heater core as well, just so it's not leaking or splashing around until we can get it changed in the heater core. But these are the parts you need. Now, we bought these locally, but I'm sure you can find these online, and I'll have a look for you and see if I can find them. And if I can find them, there will be a link in the description below. So I'll try and give you a quick look at what's going on here. Here's your 2 lines that come in and out of your heater core. So I'm going to put a bypass here, essentially a U, and just keep whatever coolant's in the heater core and not have it splashing around. Now, right here, if you can see, this is the coolant pipe. There's 2 tubes that come across your intake, okay? This is the smaller guy, and down underneath is the bigger guy. There. So those run along on top of your intake beside the valve cover here, and essentially do this little kind of snake shape into the heater core. Now that's the one that you really got to worry about bypassing. Okay, so we're going to put a U there, but I don't know, it's tight quarters in here, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see while I'm trying to do this, but I'll do my best to get you in here with me. And you might hear some swearing. I don't know, it's kind of a knuckle banger job, but we'll see how we do. right, folks, there you have it. So for less than the price of a case of beer, you can get yourself out of a heater core disaster bind and get yourself back on the road. Okay, stop all that coolant from leaking all over your garage or driveway. Now, this fellow was fortunate in that he had the leak occur outside of the interior of his car. Some people aren't so lucky. The heater core, if it lets go in a certain manner, it can leak coolant on the passenger side of your floor. And that's a disaster because it's really hard to get the smell of coolant out of your carpet. So keep an eye on these. Don't let that happen to you. Now, a couple things I left out. One being, you got to cut these hoses to length, okay? This is pretty self-explanatory. If you get yourself into this program, you're going to realize real fast that you got to cut these hoses. Cut them to length so it fits your specific scenario and work with that. From there, you want to get underneath your car and you want to get some brake clean on there, compressed air, paper towel, whatever you got, clean all the coolant up that might have spilt when you remove the hoses from the heater core, okay? Then get your car on a raised surface with the front end up, pop your radiator cap off, get your car up to temperature, get the thermostat to open up, and bleed any air out of the system that you might have let in when you change these hoses. From there, check for leaks, button her all up, and get out there and enjoy your Fox. So I hope this helps some of you folks out there. If you think it might help somebody else, by all means, please share it with them. And thanks so much for tagging along. I really appreciate all you guys. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.